Hello everyone. So welcome back to my channel. So I left a comment on my other video, my other Sims 3 performance video, and I left a comment saying, I want to make another video about how to install Reshade and just some basic performance things that maybe you guys might not have heard of, because I feel like there's a lack of videos out there that actually show how to install Reshade and set it up and what effects to use, especially for everyday gameplay, just like how I use, and also just some performance things that you might not know of either. So, also just want to say on that last video, I uploaded it back in June of 2021, and between then and probably the end of January of this year, I actually only had like about 1,000 views on it. And then in February, I actually got probably about 20,000 views, which is crazy. And I have almost 100 subscribers right now. So that's even more crazy, which is it's just crazy to think about. So thank you for that. Thank you for the views. And I feel like in general, just with The Sims 4, how it is right now, people are going back to the older games, The Sims 3, The Sims 2, even The Sims 1. And so I feel like people are looking for those videos that show how to make The Sims 3 run a whole lot better. Because as we all know, the game kind of just the vanilla game, if you don't play with mods or if you don't change any of the game files, the game kind of just sucks in general because it just doesn't run that well and it doesn't look that great either. So I wanted to make this video just showing some basic performance things that you might already know or some people might not know of. But the main part of this video that I wanted to emphasize and the reason why I wanted to make this video is to show how to install Reshade as well as setting it up, because I feel like on YouTube whenever I first got Reshade I was looking at videos how to install it, how to use it, how to set it up, and I did not see anything really about it. So I've had it for about a year now, I think, and I've played with it enough to know I think how it works generally, and I'll show you how to set up the effects that I use for my everyday gameplay, and it doesn't affect performance, at least none that I know of. It just seems to play the same as it did with or without it. So without further ado, we're going to start with the performance guide on Steam. I just want to kind of talk about a few things on here that I want to emphasize, say that they're really important, and then other things that I feel like aren't as important, I would say, I guess. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, well, first of all these things, I think they're in the order of importance of what you should do first, obviously. So the game, it probably won't recognize your graphics card at all, especially if you have a newer one. So definitely making sure that you do this, making sure to recognize your graphics card. That's probably the biggest thing to make sure, because if the game doesn't recognize it, it's probably going to burn it up because the game's just not optimized very well at all, and it'll probably destroy your graphics card pretty quickly, unfortunately. Some other things. Oh, the Nraas mods. So these mods, all the ones up here, are probably the most important ones that you should have. Uh, there's some on here. Oh, this one, for example, the traffic mod. I don't have it. I actually used it for probably about a day, but then I noticed that I feel like it was negatively affecting my performance, so I ended up taking it out. Even though I played with the settings, I made it try to work good, but for some reason it just didn't. So I ended up taking it out. So I don't use that one. But on the topic of these mods, I want to talk about some other ones that I use from, this is the official Nraas website, which, by the way, all the links that I have, they're going to be in the description below. So don't worry about that. So the other ones that I have this one, Debug Enabler. This one, it kind of makes it so, like the build by objects, there's some that aren't just available in regular build by, so this unlocks those. And then also, it allows you to build and buy on any lot that you want to. So you're not restricted to just your household's lot. And it doesn't make it so that you have to go in edit town mode. You can just click on the lot and then click Nraas and then debug enabler, and then it just automatically lets you do that. So that's great. And then the other one that I have, well, air trap, obviously. I have Go here. It says that it fixes common routing errors. I haven't really noticed if it actually does or not, but I think it's still a great mod to have. Let's let's see what else. Master controller, obviously, and since we're on this one, I'll go ahead and open this, and then I'll show you. These are like extra little mods that you can add to that one. So you have to have master controller first, so go and download it. And then this is the other ones that I have. I have master controller cheats, which adds more cheats to the basic menu for master controller. And then I have expanded tattoo, which allows for more tattoo placement on Sims bodies, which by default there's not really many. So this adds a whole bunch more. So more customization, which is never a bad thing. And then we have master controller integration. So this is for Create a Sim. So in one of my other videos, it was how to speed up Create a Sim, and I used this. And so it allows you to how do I explain this? So it kind of like decreases the number of thumbnails in Create a Sim. So basically, by doing that, it speeds up the game a whole lot. So it's a must-have in my opinion. Let's see what else I have. Overwatch, basic one. You should definitely have it. And then portrait panel. So if you've seen in my other videos, you might see my UI. It's in the corner right here, and you'll see that I have the Sims portraits of my household. Sims right here, a pet right here, and then I'll have maybe 2 or 3 other portraits right here, like floating off in the corner over here. So this is the mod that allows you to do that. So basically, it allows you to seamlessly switch from your main household, which would be over here, to another household in the world, which is over here. So I think that's a great mod. I've had it for quite a while. I really like it. And then I have relativity. So this mod, you can change the speed of time. So I think I have it in my game. I have it cut in half. So I think by default, in game, a minute goes by in like maybe 1 or 2 seconds. So I think I have it to where it takes like 4 seconds per minute. So my game is just like the days are pretty long, which I like. I like that a lot better. I like a long day. Let's see. And then story progression, obviously, I think everybody knows about this because the default EA story progression in the game is just it's not that good. So this one, it expands on that, but it's also a pretty heavy mod. So I would say that if you don't have a decent computer, you probably shouldn't have this mod. But then again, you can change the settings for it. So if you do have it, it might make it so it's not as heavy and it doesn't simulate the entire town. It might only simulate a few households. So you can change it to how you want it. And then I don't have traffic. Tempest, I think I do have this one. And basically, it's so you can change weather, length of seasons. You can shorten them, lengthen them. You can make them automatically happen just by clicking a button. So that's a cool mod right there. And then Traveler, this one, let's see. So basically, it allows your sim to travel between worlds without losing relationships. You can make any world a vacation world, and you can also make it so any sim can travel. So without this mod, by default, I think babies, toddlers, pregnant sims, and pets, I don't think they can travel at all. So this mod allows all that to happen, so it's a really nice mod. I think that's all I have. I don't have any of these down here, so that's it for that. And the next thing I want to talk about is CCMagic. So what this does, I'm going to link the video, by the way, so you can watch it and you can learn how to do it. So basically, whenever you have a lot of custom content, as soon as you load up the game has to load up all of that. And if you don't have your custom content merged, it's going to have to read all those packages individually. So that's going to slow down not only loading time, but performance in game too. So I think merging your custom content, which is something that I just started doing, it's a recent thing that I started doing. I think it's a really good thing to do because my load times you'll see them in a second, but they're really, really short. They've shortened since I've started using CCMagic. So it's a great thing and I love using it. So I'll link this below and you can watch the video and learn how to do it yourself. So the next thing that I want to talk about was the lighting mod that I used. So this is one of the graphical things that I wanted to talk about. So it's called Uranesia, I think. I don't even know if I'm saying it correctly. But so basically what it does, it gives you bright blue skies, which I love. I love those clear, bright, sunny days. And then the sunsets, they're, kind of yellow, a little pink, orange, and they just look really, really, really nice. And then the nights, they're pretty dark, which I like because by default in game, the nights are like they're kind of bluish and they kind of just like look weird. So I don't really care for the default ones. So this mod is really nice. It comes with a lot of different options. So the one that I use is the no green sunrise and then default blue water and then dark night. So the water will look like this and then the night's gonna be dark. And I don't like the green sunrise. I just think it doesn't really look it doesn't look realistic to me, so I don't use that one. But that's just my preference, you can choose whichever one you want. And then something else that I use, this is the default skin that I use. I think it looks really, really nice. And it's for every age group, so toddler through elder. I think babies, you can find a default skin for them somewhere else, but I think this one looks really nice. And so I use the 2K faces and bodies, and I use the default version. So every skin in my game will have these. They will all have very nice looking skin. And then before we get on to Reshade, I wanted to talk about real quick. Uh, so if you have a Nvidia GPU, so if you have like a GTX 960, a 1080, or an RTX card, you're gonna right click on here, and then you'll have this thing right here, the Nvidia control panel. So you're gonna click on that, and if you have an AMD card, sorry, but I don't know how those work at all. So I'm not sure if you can do this on those or not. So this is only for if you have a Nvidia GPU. So on this is the global settings. This is just in general settings for everything. I don't think I've actually changed anything on here. But under program settings, if you don't have this on here, you're gonna go to add, and then you're gonna look for ts3w.exe. So that's going to be, I know if you have Steam, I have the game on Steam. So if you have it on Steam, you're going to go to your program files, go to Steam, Steam apps, common, and then The Sims 3, and then go to, I believe it's game, and then in that it's going to say bin, you're going to click on bin, and then you're going to find this little thing right here, you're going to click on it, and then add it, and then some of these settings, the anisotropic filtering, I, I'm not really sure exactly what this does. I've had it explained to me multiple times, but I think just having it on the high setting, it really just makes your game look really good. So if you have a decent computer, I would say put that on high, and if you don't, maybe play around with it, see how these other settings, if they affect performance, and if not, keep on going higher and see if the game looks any better. So the main thing that I wanted to talk about was anti-aliasing. So if you don't know what that is, the in-game setting, it's called edge smoothing, and basically that makes all the edges look not jagged. It makes them look really smooth, and I think it just looks really nice. So I have this on. It's FXAA, and then uh, that performance guide, it tells you about frame rate, about limiting that. I have low latency mode on ultra. I'm not really sure if this does anything. I saw one video where it showed if you have this on, it might reduce stuttering or lag in game. I haven't really noticed a difference, but I still have it on just because. And then MFAA, this is another form of anti-aliasing, and I have this on too. So it makes, once again, edge smoothing look really good. And you're gonna see why I have both of these on once we install Reshade. And some other things that I have, texture filtering, I have off, um, and this one, negative LOD bias, I have it on clamp, texture filtering quality, high quality. So I think these, especially vertical sync, I always have them on. Triple buffering, I think having on, threaded optimization, having on. I'm not sure if any of these, besides vertical sync, but I'm not sure if any of these actually affect performance at all. I've just seen some people say that they do, some people say that they don't. So I guess if you want to try it, try it out and see, but it's personal preference. So I think that is it for that. So now we're gonna go ahead and start the Reshade tutorial. So we're gonna go to Reshade, reshade.me. Once again, I'll have the link down below. And then don't click this one. I'm not sure if this is the same as the one that we're going to download, but you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and you're going to click this button right here. And then once it downloads, go ahead and click it, and then we'll wait for it to open. And let's see. So we're going to go down here. You're going to click this one. It's always going to be this one, not this one. I've learned the hard way that if you click any other one, it's just not going to install correctly and it's not going to work. So you're going to click on this one and just always look to make sure it's the right one. You know, look to see where you installed it. If it's on Steam, Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, The Sims 3, Game, Bin, and then this right here. So you're going to click Next. The rendering API that The Sims 3 uses is DirectX 9. If you have an older version of Reshade, which if you're watching this video, I'm not sure why you would have an older version or not, because you're probably going to be downloading it with me. It would say D3, D9. So if you see that, click that one. But if not, you're going to click DirectX 9 and then Next. And then we're going to wait for this. So I already have it installed. So if you don't have it installed, it's going to ask you, I think you're going to press skip on whatever it asks you right here. I forgot what it said because I installed this last night already. But I think you're going to press skip on that, or it might not even show you anything. Or it might actually say to install effects, and I think that'll be in place of modify. So you're going to see install effects right here, and so you press next. And then on here, since I already have all these installed, I'm just going to kind of walk you through it. I'm going to explain it. But you're going to go ahead and check all of these, and then you'll press next. I'm going to go ahead and press, I forgot what I did a while ago. I think I'll just press skip. Yeah, so I'll press skip. You're going to check all those, make sure they're all checked, make sure all the boxes are filled in, and then you're just going to wait for it to finish. And then it might take a few minutes depending on your internet connection. But once it finishes, you're going to see this, and then you will press finish. And that is that for the installation part. So now we are going to go ahead and start the game. So we're going to go double click on The Sims 3. And I have a mod that skips the intro, so we're just going to go right into loading. And it should not take very long at all. Because like I said, merging your CC, it really helps performance as well as loading times. I think my loading time for the initial loading screen is about like 30 seconds. So anyway, you're going to see this up here at the very top, and it's going to install all the effects. So if you see that up there, if you see that black bar, then you know that you installed Reshade correctly. And so it's going to load all your effects. It might take 1 to 2 minutes. And then once it does install, it's going to say to press home. So you're going to press the home button on your keyboard, and it's going to walk you through a tutorial. I skipped the tutorial because I didn't see the point of it, honestly. It did not help me understand any of the effects at all. I think the best thing with Reshade, if you want to use effects that I don't show you how to use, I think playing with them and just seeing, what they do, that's probably the best thing for you to do, because I have yet to see a tutorial that shows what every effect does. So yeah, so we're gonna press home, and I'm gonna actually uncheck all these, so that way whenever we get in game, you can actually see how they affect like everything, how it makes everything look different. So before we do anything, we are going to go into our settings, and like just so you see, I play with all my settings on high, the highest of settings. They're all on high. And this is what I was talking about a while ago. So remember whenever we went into the Nvidia control panel and we turned FXAA and MSAA on. So the reason we did that is because Reshade, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, so basically you can't have edge smoothing on in game at all. So you have to have this setting completely off, or else some of the effects in Reshade, they just won't work. I'm not exactly sure the technical reason why. So to kind of counteract that, you turn on MSAA and FXAA in the control panel, so that way you have some form of edge smoothing. Which there is edge smoothing in here. Let's see if we can find this. SMAA is the form of edge smoothing that's in Reshade, as well as, let's see where the other one is. Dun, dun, dun. I cannot see it. So there's SMAA. There's one other one in here. I forgot what it was. But anyway, whenever you turn it on, it kind of it makes all the words just look blurry. So I don't have it on at all. So yeah, so that's it with this. So we're gonna go ahead and go into one of my save games. This save game is actually, I've been playing with it for a few months. I have quite a few sims in it that are custom sims that I made. So it's not a new save by any means. So whenever you see the performance, you'll see that it runs relatively smoothly, and it's in Bridgeport, which is probably one of the heavier worlds to play in, one of the heavier EA worlds to play in. Because contrary to popular belief, the one that comes with Island Paradise, if you get the world fix, which there's a link for it on that performance guide on Steam, if you get the world fix, it probably plays just as well, if not better, than a lot of other EA worlds. So don't let that scare you. That world it's a beautiful world, and I think everyone should play with it. So anyway, to move on, we're gonna go ahead and start this game. And the loading time for this also, I think it's around like 40, 50 seconds. So altogether from, desktop to actually getting into game is, it's less than 2 minutes for sure. I want to say it's about a minute 20 maybe, because it's 30 seconds for the initial loading time and then about 40 seconds for this. So it's definitely less than 2 minutes. So like I said, following that performance guide and merging all your custom content, I would not advise merging your mods for many reasons. I would just not do it. So, yeah, merging your custom content definitely helps loading times as well as performance. And as you can see, we are in game now. So that was about 40 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and press play. We're gonna let the mods, I have story progression, we're gonna let that load in because it's a little bit laggy at first. So once we see that notification, press X on all of that. And we're gonna go ahead, oops, hopefully that doesn't, I have a smoking mod, so hopefully that doesn't turn anybody off in this video. It seems pretty hardcore. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start turning our reshade effects on. So go ahead and press home on your keyboard, and then you're gonna have this big list of all kinds of effects. So there's all these, and you're probably surprised I only use, I think, 4 of them, or 5. 1, 2, yeah, I only use 5 of them. So out of all these effects, I only use 5. That's crazy. So there's all these effects that you can just play with and see what they do, how they affect the look of your game. And I haven't really played around with too many of them. So if just take some time, look through all of them. I know SSR, this is basically, it adds reflections to everything. So it's kind of like ray tracing. And it doesn't affect performance for me at all, but it adds reflections to literally everything. So if you're driving down a road, the road, it might not even be raining, so there might not be a reason for there to be reflections, but there will be reflections on the road. So I don't use that one specifically, but so we're gonna go up here, and the ones that I use are already up here, but you'll go through the list and you'll check off these that I check off. So we're gonna start with MXAO, which is ambient occlusion. So basically this adds like a depth shadow to everything, and just makes everything stand out a lot more. Because right now you can see my sim, he just kind of looks flat, if that makes sense. There's not really any shading, because like naturally, whenever your arms are like this, you'll have like shading under your arms, and to make it look like there's depth to you. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead and check that. And you can see it doesn't look too great now. It looks a lot better indoors, but you see how there's shading under his arms. Let's take a look at it real quick. You can see right here, see whenever you turn the camera, it adds like a depth shadow to it, as well as everything down here. So everything on the screen, as well as like his feet, because whenever you walk, your feet can cast a shadow on the ground. So like, see on versus off. So it really makes the scene pop a little bit more. So on, off, on. So we're gonna leave that one on. The next one that I have is debanding. Uh, so basically, you can see it more like on walls in houses. You'll see the colors. I don't know how to explain it. I'll show it to you later if I remember. But I played with that one on. It's easier to see in person. Probably in video you won't see very well whenever I explain it, but I keep that one on. I turn sharpen, so this is called Delk Sharpen or Quint Sharp. I turn that one on too, and it just makes the scene look a little bit more sharp because by default, so it's on right now and then off. You can see the wood grains on the down here. They just get a little bit more sharper, and I just like the look of it a lot better. And then another one that I have is Vibrance. So this kind of makes everything a little bit more brighter, I think. So it's on right now and then off. You can see on his skin, it kind of gives it a more like pink glow. And I think it just brightens up the entire game a lot more. And then the last one I have is Clarity. So this one, so it's off right now and then it's on. I think it clears the scene up as the name says. So it clears the scene up a lot better. And I think it just looks really nice. So now we're gonna go down here and we're gonna look at my settings. So the first thing that you want to do before you check all these, you're gonna go to Edit Global Preprocessor Definitions. So you're gonna click on that and you're gonna see this. So by default, I believe this number is gonna be 1, but you want to make it 0. And the reason for that is if it's 1, it's going to invert the depth input. And so we're going to look at something real quick. If I can, bring this down. We're going to go look at display depth right here. So whenever we click on this right side is how it should look. This is how it should look whenever you click this. And then the left side too, this is just another way that it shows it. So this is what you should see whenever you click that. So whenever you uncheck it, it's going to be like this. So by default, if you come down here and you click this, by default, it's going to be 1. And so whenever you do this, it's going to look like this. So whenever you have all these checked, it's going to do like that. And the reason is because of ambient occlusions. Whenever you turn it off, it looks fine, right? So whenever you do that, it looks like that. So if we go back down to display depth, you're going to see how it looks like this. This is not how it should look. So the reason it does that is because in here, this is set to 1. So you're going to go back, set it to 0, click off somewhere, and then it goes back to how it should be looking. So this is how it should be looking. So we're going to uncheck that, and then we're going to come and look down here. So this is my settings for everything. So vibrance, I have 2.150. And then I haven't touched these. These should be just default ones, default settings. And then for deband, I have, I don't think I've changed anything on here either. So that's just default. Oh, excuse me. So all I did was check that one. I just checked debanding. For MXAO, I did have to play around with that because it took me forever to figure out how to get it to work correctly. And so I have it on Ultra, which is using these arrows will change it to Ultra. And then I don't think I changed these. The ambient occlusion amount, I changed it to, I think by default it was on like 0.5, but I really wanted to be able to see it. So I cranked it on up to 2. And then down here, I don't think I changed anything right here. And then Quint Sharp, you can play with the setting. I think 0.25 is a good enough amount because I think if you have it higher than that, everything starts to look grainy. And this game is pretty old, it's from 2009. So if you have Sharp on any other higher setting, it's gonna really show the low quality just of the game, and you don't want that. You want things to look sharp, but not too sharp. So the last one that I have is clarity, and I don't think that I changed anything on this one either. I just checked it, called it a day. So that is it for that. So now I'm just gonna show a little bit of just regular gameplay. Like I said, the save is not new. I've been playing on it for a few months now, and I think the population of this Bridgeport is gosh, I think it's like 200 right now, so it's a pretty big save. Um, like I said, I'm playing with all the expansions, all my settings on high, and then I have about 2 GB of custom content, as well as quite a few mods. So this game is by no means watered down. My game is pretty heavy, if you ask me. So yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and play for a little bit. So I guess I can go ahead and finish smoking a cigarette. So you can see, we're in like the middle of nowhere right now. Once we get into the city, you may notice a stutter here or there, but it's nothing crazy. It goes away within an instant. Oh, this is things I love about the open world. Maybe not that. He's floating in the air right now. It's because I have a dive lot right here that I messed up whenever I placed. But just seeing Sims go about their life, this is why I just love the Sims 3 so much. So we're gonna go ahead and let him go home right now. He should try this more. And see, Nraas mods, they work wonders. So you see how I got this notification? As soon as I got the notification, the mod went to work fixing the sim that got stuck. So now she should be unstuck, so so we're gonna go back into the city. This sim actually lives in a warehouse. It's pretty messy, but I think it looks really nice. A lot of clutter. So you see the game, it stutters for a second right there, just to load in all the lots. You have to remember that I have the lot rendering at the highest, so it's at 8, so it loads in 8 lots at once. Whenever you think about that, it loads in not only the lot on the outside of the outlets, but it loads all the objects on the inside as well. And some of these houses that I have Sims living in have a bunch of objects. They're so cluttered, so the game takes a second to load all that. So you have to think that, just remember that it loads everything, but regardless, my performance is still pretty well, And so you can see this is his warehouse right here. It's pretty cluttered. And the lighting might look a little bit bad. Let's see. I think these are all off. I just have this one on. But you'll see whenever it's nighttime how good the lighting looks in here. It looks a lot better. And the reason the lighting looks so bad is because I have these windows right here, and they actually allow shadows to come in. It allows light to come into me. The shadows look like this, which is similar to how the Sims 4 lighting looks, which I think looks really good. So I was able to replicate that in this game with these windows. Something looks really nice, especially coming over here in the kitchen. Can't really see it right now right here because of the lighting outside. You can see right here, you can see over here how it casts this shadow inside. It just looks really nice. I think it just adds more of a realistic touch to the game. And we're gonna go ahead and, what happened? I don't want to have this video be much longer, make some hot dogs. Why not? And like I was saying on Portrait Panel, you can see down here, these Sims are from 2 different households. We're gonna go and switch to her in a second. I just want to show the lighting in here. real quick. Let's speed up a little bit. That would be nice. So you can see over here. You know, the light turns on, and it really just makes this corner. I have him as he's a self-employed sculptor, so he sculpts things, he sells things. This is a little corner that he works at over here. I think it looks really nice, and I just love the lighting. I love the shadows that it casts. So this building actually is from, I'm not sure if many of you are familiar with the world Burrowsburg. It was created by Potato Ballad Sims, and this is actually one of the lots that he has in that world, so I saved it to my bin and I put it in Bridgeport. Because for some reason that world just wasn't working for me. I don't know why. But yeah, that's this zone. So we're gonna go ahead and switch to CCMagic again. We're gonna go switch to her. She actually lives in a houseboat. Oops. Is she left? Why is she not? Every day she lives on a boat with her dog, actually, so we're gonna go ahead and go home. She's actually pretty close to home, just up here. Right, this one is just right here, try to get rid of it. There's some, and you see Bridgeport right here. It looks really, really nice. So this is her. She's at the swim. Is she gonna go back to her house? Let's see. Hopefully she goes back there. I think she will. Maybe. Maybe not. Let's return it. Or let's see if she'll get back on this time. I don't know why she's just out there doing nothing. Okay, she's out there. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our houseboat back to this and this is the I think that's about all I had to say about this. So I hope that you learned something. I hope that I did good explaining Reshade and how to install it. I think that's just about it that I have to say. I do have another video that I wanted to show. It has to do with the indoor lighting that you see in here. So like with the windows and how they cast shadows indoors. I wanted to make a video about how I did that because you can't just use regular windows. You have to use these certain windows, but the video is already long enough, so I didn't want to include it in this one. And also in that video I wanted to talk about environmental shadows and how to make things look more realistic with a mod. Because by default, the shadows, they fade out really, like if you zoomed in right here, normally they would fade out, but I had a mod, and I've customized it to where my shadows look really nice, and they also don't fade out whenever you zoom in. So, I want to make another video about that, and I think that's all I have to say. So, thank you for watching. If you made it through this far, congratulations. I really hope that you learned something new. And yeah, so until next time, bye guys.